know what, guys? Next to watching sea hunt films, I think I like reading the sea hunt book more than anything else. Yeah, this is the sea hunt book. The sea hunt book. There was only one sea hunt storybook ever written in North America anyway. And this particular book is from Whitman. Now, some of you may remember the Whitman series. It was a big production, publishing company. And they published storybooks for children based on their TV heroes. So the storybooks almost always were related to TV heroes. In fact, if you go to the back of the Sea Hunt book, you'll find things like The Rifleman and Maverick, Rin Tin Tin. Hey, when's the last time you heard that? Rin Tin Tin. And Lassie, Bobbsey Twins, and all those famous movies and TV, Wyatt Earp, Abgun Will Travel, and so on. All those famous TV shows, this particular company, Whitman, would make a storybook based on the show. Of course, I'm sure they had to get permission from the producers of the show and so on. So they would have had permission from these folks, from Ziv Productions, to make this book called Sea Hunt. That's a beautiful book. It really is one of the, well, I'm a scuba diver and I'm in love with sea hunt, so obviously I think so. But you can see it is a very attractive book, a really interesting color of green, Sea Hunt on the front, and based on the adventures of Mike Nelson, starring Lloyd Bridges, of course, and there he is right there, full regalia, at the surface of the water, Sea Hunt, TV weapon. And then the back is pretty interesting too. Can you see the back there, Kev? At the back, a little bit, what, Hollywoodized? Is that a word? Anyway, because here you have a couple of divers, one with twin tanks and spearing a shark in the mouth, and the sailboats, all kinds, and the ships, sunken ships, and all kinds of stuff. Pretty girl, everything in there that makes Sea Hunt and Mike Nelson famous. So this is a famous Sea Hunt book, and these are not rare. I know I sometimes chuckle. I see these on eBay or other auction sites, and some of them are in pretty good shape. And I see the title is Sea Hunt book, rare, very hard to find. Well, no, I think at any time at all, millions of these or hundreds of thousands were printed. I think at any time, if you go to eBay or any other common auction site and search Sea Hunt, you're almost certain to find one or two or three of these. And prices, well, it depends on the condition to a certain extent. But I've seen these for as little as $5. I think $10 is the right price to pay for one of these in decent condition, not destroyed, not broken, and so on. Now, one like this particular one that I have, my own, if I may brag a little bit, this one is virtually new, virtually perfect. The paper, this is how you judge a book. The paper is almost pure white. The edges are brown a little bit. These are the kind of things only a collector would worry about, but this is how you judge a book. You see the pages are still white. You get other ones of these, same year, same age, and they won't be white. Just the edges are a little bit of brown in there. Also, this book has not been broken. What I mean by broken is, if you take any hardcover book, more than a few years old anyway, and you open the cover all the way back, it'll snap, it'll break the spine in here. The book won't fall apart necessarily, but it will snap open, and you can see the tear down the inside spine. This one has not been read very much, obviously. The edges are clean and clear. These had a glassine cover, sort of a thin plastic cover put on them. I don't know how that was done, but it made them shiny, made them very glossy. But on some of them, the glassine will start to peel off as well. Couple of knocks on the corners to see that. But other than that, it's complete. No marks inside. It's a perfect copy of this. Now, this particular book is actually a lot of fun to read. This is typical. Here's the inside front cover. I think the inside back cover is identical, yes. And then it has a nice picture of Mike Nelson doing a dive, a head-first dive, which he never did. No scuba diver ever did on the inside. This was given to somebody in 1962. This book was printed in 1960. And Whitman Publishing Company, and written by Cole Fannin. Cole Fannin. Remember that name for just a moment. And it's authorized by Ziv, so this is an authorized version. And then as you start into the story, you can see that every few pages there's a really interesting line drawing, diagram, picture, whatever you want to call it in there. You see there's several full-page ones that go along with the story. And it is a complete story from start to finish. One of Mike Nelson's adventures. It's related very much to one of his Sea Hunt episodes on TV, which makes sense. That's what they would do. It's not a different story. So don't buy this thinking you're going to buy a different Sea Hunt story. We won't do that. But there it is, the famous Cole Fannin Whitman book. I have this book in really good condition. It's something that should be in everybody's collection. It's quite a common thing. However, let me explain what's not quite so common. I'll put that back there. Let's take a look at this. Here's another storybook. That sure looks like Mike Nelson to me. Yeah, it sure is. And that says Mike Nelson right there. The rest I can't read. Well, it says, basically what it says is the adventures underwater, the underwater adventures of Mike Nelson. This particular one is in California, written in California, about a story in California. This particular story, the author of the story is Cole Fannin. Can you see it there? This is the same story. It's in German. That's right. Written and printed in Germany. See? Same story. This is a cover protector, we used to call them, or a loose leaf cover, you see. The book itself is not different from the Whitman type. It's just a cover. This has a cover on it like so, with some information on it about different books that this particular company publishes. And there's the same story inside. The diagrams are a little bit different, and of course it's in German. If you read German, then you would really enjoy this. But if you don't read German, then it's simply a Sea Hunt piece of memorabilia because it is Sea Hunt. So there is the same story published in Germany. Good, huh? Another one. There's no American equivalent to this. This is the same as the Whitman Sea Hunt, right? There's no American equivalent. So this fellow, Glenn Ford, who actually wrote several of these stories, wrote this story, and it was published as a German hardcover. Yeah, printed in Germany, in German. So it's of no use to us unless you speak German, of course. But it's interesting because in North America we only had one Sea Hunt storybook. We had comics and all that stuff, of course. But in Germany, Sea Hunt was so popular that they actually had two. So this particular one is something about a shipwreck, Fukushima Maru. That means a shipwreck, and with Mike Nelson, Mike Nelson. And this is very similar, very similar. Diagrams throughout, pictures throughout, and so on. There's two of them. How about that? There's number 3. Exactly. German again. Written and printed in German. This was written again by Glenn Ford. Mike Nelson in Peru. Underwater adventures. How about that? So in German they had 3 hardcover storybooks about Sea Hunt. I mean, we all thought the Sea Hunt was big in North America, and boy, it was. It was. Everybody in North America. But it was big in Germany too, obviously. Obviously. 3 hardcover picture books printed and written in German. How about that? Oh, 4. That's right. Adventures Underwater with Mike Nelson. Project Future 4. Same thing with Mike Nelson. Same thing. And number 5, the last one. Underwater Adventures with Mike Nelson. Written by George Gerson. Yucatan. I believe that's about the Yucatan Peninsula. My German is so-so. My mother was 2nd generation German. She didn't speak much German, but I can't read this at all. Maybe there's somebody out there that does read German. I'll send you one of these. You can translate it for us. So there we go. This was an interesting story. I've got a beautiful big illustration here at the front. Let me see if I can find it again. Pretty neat. Now, as I saw this, I found that these books were available. This is the first one I saw, this one by Cole Fannin. I found this was available. I got excited. I said, my gosh, isn't that great? There's one in Germany. How do you suppose I found the other ones? How did I know these ones were? And how do I know there's only 5? Well, there's a simple reason for that. If you collect books or comic books or anything, classic comics. You remember illustrated classic comics? Illustrated classics? I have the complete set of those as well. I'm a bit of a collector in that. And one way you find out how many there were and which ones are available is by looking on the back cover. The publisher often publishes magazines that have been produced. So at this particular time, if you look under Adventures Underwater, it shows his book is produced. So there you go. There's the one there. However, in this one, it has that one listed and this one. And the next one has the first 2 listed and the 3rd one. And on it goes until finally you get to the 4th one, the very last one, and it indicates very clearly that there are 5 books in total, and this is the last one. So if you actually look on the cover leaf, and you can see the names of the books and when they were published. So there you go, folks. Kind of interesting. And I know that quite a few of you sea hunt nuts. I hope you don't mind me calling you that. I don't mind it. I love it. And call me a sea hunt nut anytime you want. I already have this book. Good friend of mine, Jerry, down in Ohio, he was crazy about these things. I think he was eating them. Every one he saw, he bought. And actually, what happened was he would get various people, involved with sea hunt. People like Zale Perry and other people that are sea hunt events that were involved with the vintage diving around the time of sea hunt. He would get them to autograph these books, and he used them as gifts, giveaways for his friends. And very, very nice, actually. But he purchased, I don't know how many of these, 50, maybe, over a period of time. And anywhere from $2, not in good condition, to $10 in good condition. And had them autographed often. I signed some for him and given to his friends. It was kind of a neat idea. I know you have quite a few that have these. Well, now, you collectors, you sea hunt collectors, here's a challenge for you. See if you can find those German books as well. Took me some time. Hey, this didn't happen overnight. But there are 5 German, published in Germany, printed in German, sea hunt storybooks with sea hunt stories in them. Anyway, a little bit more about sea hunt, how big it was. Worldwide. That's how big, how famous, and how well-known sea hunt and Mike Nelson were. Worldwide. There's the famous sea hunt storybook, and 5 more for you to look for. Hope you enjoyed that. Alec Peirce, Sea Hunt Remembered. Talk to you soon.